Call it Decaf Brexit, if you like. Still recognisably leave-flavoured, with that much-loved bitter aftertaste, but delivering altogether less of a jolt to the system. The sort of Brexit that doesn't stop you sleeping at night, although the flip side is that it won't be enough to get hardened addicts leaping out of bed in the morning, either. That's basically what Jeremy Corbyn has finally been persuaded to support, in the interests of keeping anxious Labour members happy and maybe even triggering an early election that could get him into Downing Street. He's come out for semi-skimmed, unleaded Brexit, the kind where we're still leaving the EU and still getting out of the single market, but would be ready to stay in some kind of customs union so long as it's on our terms. Translation: that's a yes to the bit which allows us to curb immigration and which, like it or not, obviously mattered to a lot of Leave voters, although that's very much not why Corbyn favours it, as he was at pains to point out in his speech. But it's a no to the one thing nobody voted for, which was risking the return of bombs and bullets to the streets of Northern Ireland. All that incredibly boring stuff about agreeing to match other countries' customs duties on stuff imported from abroad isn't just about helping to keep trade flowing smoothly and saving jobs. It's about trying to keep the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland open, as the Good Friday Agreement, which formally ended the Troubles, said it should be. So it's basically a yes to leaving, but a no to the risk of burning the house down in the process. That hardly seems unreasonable. Corbyn will now be able to argue that Labour has a clear and understandable plan for Brexit, while the government's position has, if anything, only got more confusing as time wears on, but it's also a big fat yes to the possibility of making life exceptionally difficult for Theresa May. If Labour now joins with Tory rebels to vote for the option of negotiating a customs union, then she could easily lose a parliamentary vote on the issue. If it becomes penny obvious that she can no longer deliver what Tory Uber Brexiters want, basically, a clean break and the chance to see if there are any better trade deals on offer with the rest of the world, then they might well try to get rid of her. And if that happens, then a general election probably wouldn't be too far behind. That's a lot of ifs, but they are very tantalising ifs for Labour. At the very least, Corbyn will now be able to argue that Labour has a clear and understandable plan for Brexit, that, while the government's position has, if anything, only got more confusing as time wears on, thanks to all the public infighting, Labour has been slowly but steadily working its way out of an initial muddle. How far the EU will be impressed by any of this is a different question. They've repeatedly insisted that we can't just pick out all the nice bits of EU membership and leave the ones we don't like, that it's either in or out, no hokey-cokeying about, and Corbyn's plan still depends on some serious hokey-cokeying. He's insisting any agreement shouldn't stop us simultaneously taking advantage of whatever new trade deals we can get outside Europe, even though this is the one thing existing members of an EU customs union aren't allowed to do. To some in Brussels, it will look as if we still aren't facing up to the harsh reality of what leaving means. But that's the luxury, at least for now, of being in opposition. Jeremy Corbyn doesn't have to worry about the EU spitting out his Decaf Brexit, because they're not negotiating with him. All he has to worry about is whether voters swallow it, whether it's enough of a compromise to please everyone but the really hardened caffeine addicts on the one hand, and really determined coffee haters on the other. This isn't the end of Brexit, or even the beginning of the end. Sorry to break this to you, but it's not even the end of the beginning, given that all this is going to drag on for years yet. But, if she's not very careful, it might conceivably be the beginning of the end for Theresa May. At Gabby Hinsliff love this. Sign up to our Today in 3 email to receive the latest stories straight to your inbox every morning. It looks like you've already registered, but not yet verified your email address. We've sent the verification email again. Please check your inbox. Nearly there. Please check your email and confirm something went wrong with our services. Please try again later.